case for the first time. Hello, my name's Simon. I like explain, especially on the Explain 10 blog. We're just going to have a bit of fun today and take my computer apart and install a couple of new components that I just bought for a bargain. So we've got a oh my precious, we've got a new GTX 560 Ti GPU graphics card to install. Oh, even more, my precious. An OC Vertex 2 solid state drive, 120 gigabytes. So I'm going to stick most of Explain on, and any other programs that rely on lots of read-write access and should speed things up quite a lot. This 560 Ti card was a bargain, $259 from Computer Parts Land in Melbourne, Victoria, and it is pretty close to the equivalent of the 570, which in Melbourne retails for about $360, so I'm getting it for about $100 less. It's factory overclocked, which means it's been hand-picked for its ability to be overclocked, so it should handle things a little bit better. And I've got a GTX 275 card in this baby here. GTX 275, bought the whole computer 2 years ago. We've known about today actually. 2 years ago today, it's done really well. It's got a Core i7 first generation 920 CPU, and that's doing very well. That's only got about 30%. That's only about 30% less powerful than even the latest 2600K i7. So I'm not going to change the CPU for the foreseeable future. But the graphics card is approximately 3 times more powerful. So hopefully we'll see a change. So I've watched a few videos. Not very hard to do this, I believe, but of course I'll probably stuff it up totally. I have grounded myself a few times, so I don't have any static on me. That's important. And so we're just going to remove the cover. This cover is disgusting. I don't know what is on this cover. You probably can't see it on the camera. It's just got 2 years worth of coffee stains or something. It's pretty bad. Now look at this, ridiculous. You can't even show it yet. The bloody fan wiring is connected to a little point. So I've got to disconnect the fan. So there's the fan, extremely dusty. So one reason why I decided to do it myself was I thought, well, I'll just give it a go and see if I can clean this god-awful thing. In fact, 750 watt, tough power, so that lets me overclock a little mildly. I go for a 10% overclock generally. Ooh, so that's the big, this is the old 275 card. It's just dusty as hell here, so we'll do a bit of cleaning in a minute. And here's a big fat, that's amazing, I haven't seen this before. This is a big fat CPU. Yeah, it needs a good old vacuum, so we'll do that. So I've just opened the case and it's shocking. I'm really quite surprised how much dust and crap is in here. So I just tried the vacuum cleaner, but it didn't really work very well, so I found my trusty AC inflator. We use, in Australia we have things called beaches, and we do a special thing called swimming. Most people in England probably wouldn't know about that, but yeah, and what we do sometimes, we use inflatables, and we lazy people like me use one of these electric things. I've got a DC one for the car as well, and we inflate our inflatables with a bloody powerful Big Bertha. So what I've just been doing is using this in the inflate mode, not the deflate mode, and just these CPU fans. I'm not even going to go near these. I'm going to do a hand clean here. Each fingerful's getting this much. Like a whole piece of string coming off my finger just for each. Yeah. And here's the aftermath of my cleaning. It's like 2 years of skull. Rightio, so I've got a pretty clean case now. I've just been having fun trying to work out how this graphics card comes out. So we've got two PCIe connectors that go from the power supply, so they get connected up here. So I've just pulled these off, and then these little buggers here, found here, I found that if you just push it in, then pull it out, it loosens up the actual fitting. So we'll do that with this one here, right down here. So push in, then pull out. Use my little pinky to hold my card in case it falls. And then just watch the camera so I can hear. So, yeah. There. So now this whole side is loose.
You'll see this now. I've actually put the computer right on its side now, because this card's a pretty big card, and I had to work at removing it properly.
There's a little tiny luggy thing down here that you have to push in as you pull the card up. So I'll just do that. Yeah. So now it's just coming out of this slot. So there's two slots for an SLI if you really have to. And just literally put this connector, come and focus, into that slot, flat into the slot. So now I can have a look at the card I've been using for 2 years. See it? So it's a GTX 275. There's quite a reasonable looking fan there, and it's relatively clean in there. Pretty boring looking thing. Incredible piece of tech, of course. And here's a lovely SSD, some solid state drive. Let's unbox this. Don't you hate the videos where people do these unboxing videos? There's a sticker, and they take so much care. It's like, oh look at it. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, it's just a card. Come on, yeah. Caution, sensitive to electrostatic discharge. And I've read and been told that one of my mates did this once, and he did say these things are really handy to actually. So what all this is? Just a thin, incredibly light holder, I think, for a pretty beefy 120 gig SSD. So there's the SATA connectors there. I'm about to find out how to do that. So since the graphics card is out, I can install the SSD on this side here. Do that. Better off doing the SSD first. And at the back here, the SATA the power cables for the SATA, which is the drive side of things. And I found a spare SATA to motherboard cable, so I'm going to be able to connect that to this baby. And I've also found the drive. So this is the hard drive. This is a 1 terabyte drive in here. Again, they look so small, don't they? So just found now you just basically tweak these things and pull them out, and you can put your new component in there, and then obviously slide it all back into the hole. So the key thing is to make sure we've got the right connectors at the back. And it's not rocket science. Just carefully place this in. It's got a guide, a template to make sure you don't do it the wrong way. So the other side, the other end will go into the motherboard, just like down here. There's a return from the other hard drive going back into the motherboard here. Right, and carrying on, some googling later, I found out that the SATA power supplies are very common, where they'll have multiple power connectors along the one line, the one serial line. So there's one connector here, there's another connector in there, there's another one that comes up into this hard disk. So the beauty of the SATA regime is, of course, it saves a lot of space. So I've now found I can connect the two. So I'm going to do that. I'll connect it to the back and slide it in. I'm just going to be threading the SATA data cable through underneath here into this connection area first. So you don't want to know how hard that was to connect this little bugger
underneath all of these already fairly high tension cables here. So I had to swap the arrangement and just put this in first and then connect it up to the drive here next. So all these cables here, they're very tightly packed. Very neat though, it's fantastic for cooling, so it's pretty quality, reasonable quality for them. And so I've just connected the power connector to the back here. Again, a little bit more fiddly than it sounds on paper or when you look at the videos. It's pretty fiddly, you have to get the tension right. So now I'm going to slide it back in. Right, so I've just slid the drive in, the SSD, in here. Bit of wiggling, bit of waggling we got through, so that's connected in serial. That's it there. The power's connected because it's going to serial to the SSD and the hard drive. So that's about it for the SSD. Up the box now. One instruction manual, which I've already read. Make sure you do that at RTFM. One installation disc. Of course, I haven't really told you yet, but I've already uninstalled the 275 in the hardware options under the control panel, under the one called Windows. And yeah, I installed the driver, which of course Windows then promptly, when I rebooted, Windows promptly started trying to reinstall the driver for the non-existent card. Which is bizarre. There's the card with 2 fans. Jeez, that's heavy. I might fill the other card in a minute. And here's some power connectors. Don't know what these are actually. Don't care, don't need them. And there's a mini HDMI cable to normal size adapter, so that'll be handy because this does have HDMI output. This one's noticeably more solid yet fragile. There's just a feel about it that's out of this world. Oh, look at it. Look at the heat sinks. Pretty heavy. I swear this one's a little bit heavier, the 275 probably. Yeah, you've got these massive heat sinks. And 2 fans, marking gut. Wind force 2x or 2 times anti-turbulence inclined fins. Wow. A standing dual fan design doubles the cooling capacity and offers extreme silent environment. Gigabyte builds up an inclined cooling fan which helps heats can spread. I don't think they've proofread this well enough. It builds up an inclined cooling fan which helps heats can spread effectively from hot areas. Well, it's saying to remove the heat from the hot areas. One thing I will do though is have a look at the fans, just look at the working of them. Yes, so there's one little fan here, piddling little thing, and here are the 2 big mothers. Quite a pathetic little fan thing. I'm sure they would have marketed as being the best fan available.